Hi, I'm Ry Moody, helping you to fish smarter, not harder. After 30 years of charters, I have learned the hard way that big fish straighten hooks. While we often lose fish to sharks and other things out of our control, the choice of hook is for the angler to decide, especially when using lures. I regularly change out the hooks on my lures as the applications change, and these decisions can catch you or cost you fish. I've worked out some rules of thumb when choosing the right hooks for lures, whether it be trolling or casting. In many locations, trebles are sufficient but must be strong enough and the size applicable to the lure. Other times I prefer to use singles in areas where large fish can get you into structure or when targeting big predatory offshore fish. So let's take a look at the principles I use when making the right choice of hooks. Treble hooks not only come in different sizes, but different strengths. And a lot of people, especially those getting into luring, may not know that. Here we have the different sizes, and you have to match those sizes to the sizes of the lure. You don't want to put too big a treble on too small a lure, because then it changes the action of the lure. Then we have the different strengths. These are both size 1s, but we have a 3x, which is mostly a standard size that comes with lures, and we have a 6x, which is the beefed up version, and you can see that in the gauge of the hook. Now let me run through a couple of scenarios that I do when I go lure fishing. First up, with big lures like this, these big RMGs, which are used for deep trolling, they come with the standard 3x hooks, and a lot of these bigger lures have 3 sets of trebles. What I like to do, I like to take them off, get rid of them, when I'm targeting big fish, that is. And what I do is I get rid of the middle hook, because over the years I've noticed that most of the fish come from the front or the back hook, and the middle treble doesn't really get in that often. So by getting rid of one hook is not really going to change your hookup rate too much. But what I do is, because I've got rid of that extra hook, I can go up in size and up in strength for the front and rear hook. So what that basically means is, even though I've gone back to 2 hooks here, it's got the same amount of drag. Even though they're bigger and heavier, it's got the same amount of drag as the standard hooks on the standard lure having 3 different hooks. So basically I'm not adjusting the action of the lure by doing so. But what I'm doing is I'm giving myself the best opportunity of getting that big trophy fish to the boat, because I've gone up in size and up in strength. And by going up in size when chasing big fish, the larger hook is better for getting around the lip, whereas smaller hooks will quite often hit the teeth or the jawbone and bounce out. You are more or less relying on the hook getting inside the fish's mouth and maybe getting into the skin. But a lot of the time, these hooks end up in the outside bones. So that's why I upgrade all my bigger lures to 2 hooks, bigger size, bigger strength, but don't have the middle one on there. But don't go too crazy with it, just go up one size. You don't want to go up and have massive hooks hanging off it for the application that you're using. Okay, now, and I also do that as the size of the lure comes down a little bit. It's the same kind of thing. We get rid of the middle hook and just go up to that next size hook and beef it up a bit. Now, that's not so important with the smaller lures. Most small type minnows only come with 2 sets of trebles. So what I would do, if I was going to be out chasing, say, flathead out in the open and that kind of thing, it's not really imperative to upgrade your hooks, because you're mostly going to be using lighter lines anyway. But if you were going to go and chase a mangrove jack up in the mangrove roots with the same lure, I would upgrade the hooks once again. But with these smaller lures, do not go up in size too much. It's all about getting just a stronger hook of the same size that the lure comes with. In this case, a size 6, and what I would do is replace it with a size 6 in a 6x. So that's what you want to do if you're targeting a species that's most likely going to duck in and get you in cover, or is a much stronger fighter than, say, a flathead that you're going to catch out in the open. So that's what I do with smaller lures. I only upgrade the strength of the hook and not the size. Bigger lures, it's a little bit different, like I previously explained. Now when it comes to using singles, I mostly use them out on the reef flats and for offshore lures trolling for big things like wahoo, big Spaniards and all that sort of stuff. and that can be in the form of bibless lures. By having giant trebles hanging off the back of these, you can restrict the action of the lure slightly. If you go to singles, you get that little bit better action. Plus, when those big fish come on board and they're waving their heads around because they're longer and everything like that, if you get hit accidentally, well, you've got less chance of getting a spare hook in your leg or your arm or whatever if it's a single over a treble. A treble will get you every single time. So that's why we like using the singles out there. The hookup rate might not be as good as using trebles, but I find it gives a much better action and a little bit more safety. And also using poppers and stick baits on the flats where you've got big coral trout, big GTs trying to get you in the cover. We go to the big singles there as well. You can still use the trebles once again, but by using the singles, especially on stick baits, you will get a better action out of your lure. Then out on the reef flats also, we quite often use shallow diving minnows, like our Scale Blazer 125, which is a barrel lure. But what we do is we take the trebles off, we put the singles on, and we go out and target reef species. Now these guys here, a 3.0 is perfect for this size lure, whereas a 5.0 or 6.0 is perfect for, say, a bigger minnow like this. You don't want to go putting a 7.0 on a lure that's designed to take 3.0s, because then you will get some restriction. So it all comes down to the size of the lure and the size of the hook that you're going to use out there. So I hope those little tips help you guys in choosing the right hooks for the right application, and basically beefing your lures up for the right application as well. So if you like this little tip and you'd like to see more, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook and Insta, and if you only want some special tips sent out by email only, head on over to our website ryanmoodifishing.com and sign up for free email updates. Get into the great outdoors, keep fishing smarter, and we'll see you next time.